Well, when we issued our call back in 2005, we made it absolutely clear that it is a rights-based movement, and therefore we have refused since then to endorse a political solution, because I mean the BNC itself, the Boycott National Committee, is the largest coalition that includes, you know, the overwhelming majority of civil society organizations, but also political forces, and every single political force on the ground has its own political agenda, and that's why we made it absolutely clear that we wouldn't actually endorse a political solution. When I say a political solution, I'm talking about, you know, one state versus two states. So on the one hand, you have some BDS activists actually who believe that the only political solution is a secular democratic state on the historic land of Palestine. But on the other hand, you have also very active BDS activists who believe that two-state solution can provide, you know, a minimum just solution to the problem in Palestine, or to the Palestinian question rather. And therefore we decided to rely heavily on what international law is offering us. And that is why we have three demands. And those three demands have a consensus. Almost every single Palestinian political organization supports that, and because that is a call for the implementation of international law. When we say a call for implementation of international law, we say we want the implementation of our right to self-determination. Our interpretation of our right to self-determination means, one, the complete withdrawal of all Israeli occupation forces from Arab lands they occupied in 1967. And when we say Arab lands, we made it absolutely clear then. We said Arab land includes the West Bank, the Gaza Strip, and Eastern Jerusalem. But that's only one demand. The other demand that is guaranteed by international law is we want the implementation of United Nations Resolution 194. United Nations Resolution 194 is very clear about the right of return of Palestinian refugees to the villages and towns from which they were ethnically cleansed in 1948, including myself. Now I'm talking to you, and my parents are refugees who lived and died as refugees in the Gaza Strip, dreaming of, you know, the day when they would be allowed to return to the village from which they were ethnically cleansed, with more than 750,000 Palestinian refugees. And then demand number three, we want an end to Israel's policy of racial discrimination against 1.4 million Palestinian citizens who live as second-class citizens in the state of Israel itself. And therefore, notice that we are saying that these three demands are complementary, which means you cannot only call for the withdrawal of Israeli troops from the 1967 borders and you say that would solve the Palestinian problem. In fact, even if Israel decides to withdraw from the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, and even if the international community allows the establishment of an impossible, a fictional, a mirage Palestinian state on parts of the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, even the entire land of the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, that would never mean the end of our call and the end of the BDS movement. Our most important demand is the implementation of United Nations Resolution 194, i.e. return of Palestinian refugees scattered all over the world. I mean, I'm speaking to you right now from Gaza, and about 75 to 80% of Gazans are originally refugees whose right of return is actually guaranteed in international law. But demand number three also is extremely important, because it actually makes it absolutely clear that Israel is an apartheid state. I mean, I need to remind you that Israel is one of the very few, if not the only, country in the world that does not have a constitution. Israel has basic laws, and it has about more than 52 basic laws that define it as an apartheid state. So we want an end to apartheid. As for how successful the BDS movement has been, I think, I can refer you to what Israelis themselves are saying. They are saying that the BDS movement has been posing a strategic and an existential threat against the state of Israel. Now you have between 10 to 11 American academic institutions that have decided to endorse our call and cut all their academic ties with Israeli academic institutions. You have major trade unions in the United Kingdom, in Scotland, in Ireland, in South Africa, endorsing our BDS call. I think if I start talking about the successes of the BDS call, it will take us about 24 to 48 hours to finish talking about that. But the most important part that I think we have pride in is that we have managed to move from civil society support to official endorsement of the BDS call. I need to remind you, during the 2014 massacre, President Evo Morales decided to endorse the BDS call. The ex-Cuban president, Comrade Fidel Castro, also decided to endorse the BDS call. As I speak to you right now, we have the news of the European Union deciding to label settlement products. We know that's not enough, but we know very well that we have managed actually to persuade major forces to take BDS seriously. And now, as I speak to you, I guarantee you that we think that within next years, based on reports, reports and research made by major Israeli think tank, major American think tank, and major European think tank, that BDS is actually the future tool of struggle of the entire Palestinian people that will bring an end to Israel's multi-tiered system of oppression that it has been imposing on the Palestinian people. It took the international community 30 years to heed the call made by the oppressed South Africans. We have already achieved, this is our 10th year, by the way, what we have already achieved actually is more, as rather far more than what the